While July's numbers had a bunch of statistics that popped up that weren't so surprising, there are some that did catch us a little bit by surprise. Hey, this is Robbie Bro with Robbie Bro and team at EXP Realty, and July's numbers are in. We did see a little bit of a dip in total number of sales, but surprisingly, buyers are actually entering in the market even in these higher interest rates, higher insurance reason that not necessarily suppressing them from jumping into the pool. 2023 July, we saw 279 homes close compared to 361. That is a 22.7% drop in sales compared to this time last year. Year to date, we're down 29% as far as the total number of homes that closed. Again, we always like to go and compare to our last normal market. 2019, we're down 6.3%. And essentially, barely below what we were in that last time, last normal market. From last month, we're down about 9.5% compared to where we were as far as the total number of units sold from June of this year over to July. Dollar volume, very similar stories. We had a 19.2% drop in the total dollar volume. If you add up the sales of all 279 homes that sold, that came out to 87.9 million compared to 108.7 million. Again, 19.2% drop. That's 28% less than what we were cumulative from January till the end of the year. Now, if we're going back to 2019, we compare those two numbers, we're actually up 20% compared to 2019. What that means is most homes are worth at least 20% more than what they were back then. So still running into some equity positions where we were before. So the leading indicators that we like to go and use. So where are we heading? We've got August, September, October running through. Typically, we got kids jumping into the mix with back to school, fresh up for a lot of families that are coming up this week and the next couple of weeks. What are we looking for as how is the real estate market going to perform moving forward? So we look at two things. First, the number of homes that are coming onto the market, the signs that are coming in the yard. That's down 11.5% compared to this time last year. 350 this year, and in July, 395 last July, and we're down year to date 20% fewer new listings on the market since this time last year. So pending sales. This is when a buyer and a seller have a meeting of the minds. We were able to get a price figured out, terms, conditions, all the other fun things that are out there. For the first time since January of 2022, we had an increase in pending sales in Lafayette Parish, only up 1.1%. But that means we outperformed this time last year. Why are we outperforming? It's because we're actually finally comparing apples to apples, or at least close to it. When we were in July, we were starting to creep into the sixes right now. Now we're still a little bit ahead into the 6.5, 7, somewhere in that neighborhood. We're starting to compare apples to apples instead of apples to basketballs. And when you're going 7% versus 3%, obviously there's going to be a big difference in the buyer's temperature to be able to put their home, going after to purchase something, and a seller to be able to go and put their home on the market to go want to, enter into that activity. Because, let's face it, a lot of folks out there are content with their 2, 3, and 4% interest rates, unless there's some sort of change in life event. That is what's going to keep the new listings from coming back onto the market moving forward. So, you've got a job relocation, you got divorce, you got more kids, people are climbing all over each other. Chances are they're not going to be putting their home on the market. This will actually keep the prices, not necessarily from going up all the time, but it'll keep the prices leveling out instead of seeing a free-for-all for drastically dropped prices. So average sales price was up 1.9% if we count new construction and resales, $289,000 versus $284,000. The new construction was actually up almost 10. Resales were down just a touch, about 1.5%, 2% cheap, between 1.5% and 2% less than what it was this time last year. Still relatively flat, but we are seeing a little bit of a softening, particularly on the upper end. And if you think about it, a lot of this is because the cost of the money to be able to borrow is so much more expensive. If you're running into $600,000 mortgage, you're looking at $1,000 a month more going straight to the bank compared to what it was this time, in the 3% interest rate market. So chances are we're not going to have as many people are in that pool to be able to go and buy, which is why the bigger the tree, the harder it could potentially fall, which leads me to my next spot. Sellers, if you have a home in the $300,000 arena or less, we are still running into a very big shortage of homes in that area. If you've got the ability to go and stretch a little bit for upper end homes, a lot more negotiation room here than we have seen in years past. So you've got the ability to be able to kind of buy low and sell high. So sell for more than what it was worth a year ago, buy for less than what it was willing, what we were dealing with even in the COVID area. So we've got the ability to kind of capitalize on both. And there's a couple of different ways we can do that. You can either refinance once the interest rates drop, or we've got the temporary buy down, which will essentially lower those rates into the 5 and 6% range to make it a little bit more affordable, at least temporarily. So interest rates right now, 30-year fixed, we're looking in the mid to high 6%. So we got a little bit of reprieve compared to what we were this time last month. Hopefully they start trickling down a little bit, but right now at the current moment, I can't stress this enough. If you've been looking for homes, even if you got your, even if you were quoted a rate 2 days ago, make sure you go and quote a rate prior to go and putting that offer in. They've been jumping all over the place from 6.25 to 7.25, 7.5. We've seen them. It's been wild. So if you are interested in getting an idea of what the equity position is on your current house, love to reach out. You can reach out to my personal cell, 337-658-5690. You can shoot me a direct message or shoot me an email, info@robbiebro.com. We'd love to hear from you. As always, thanks for joining in, and we will see you next month.